Ain't no replacement for displacement. That's what they say, right? Well, not if you're Toyota, because in addition to selling their GR Supra with a big, powerful 3-litre engine, they're also offering this GR Supra with a smaller, less powerful 2-litre engine. And that raises 3 very important questions. Why? What for? And, huh? The simple answer, of course, is choice. Until now, if you wanted a Toyota Supra, you had to drop £55,000, which is quite a lot of money for what is essentially a toy. By offering the Supra with a smaller, cheaper 2-litre engine, they've managed to shave £9,000 off the price. Everyone's a winner. Well, unless you like performance and speed and noise.
Where the 3-litre Supra used BMW's fiery 6-cylinder B58 engine, the same one you get in cars like the M240i, the Supra 2.0 uses the engine found in the current M135i. It's a good solid engine, but power is reduced substantially from 382 horsepower in the 3-litre to 258 in the 2.0.
Obviously, it's not as quick as it looks, not by any stretch of the imagination. 0 to 62 takes 5.3 seconds, which is nearly a full second slower than the 3-litre version takes. Both versions will still do 155 miles an hour flat out, electronically limited of course, but in-gear acceleration in the 2-litre is nowhere near as impressive as the 3-litre version. So it's not looking good at all, is it? I mean, literally, it's not looking good at all. Look at the state of that engine, it's puny. I mean, it's got this horrible plastic cover on it for a start, and then you rip that off and it's just not that impressive. Plus, the actual engine ends so far back inside the bonnet. You've got this super long bonnet and it sits so far back, leaving a massive amount of space at the front end. And if you think it looks bad, wait till you hear it. You just can't take it seriously.
For me, the exhaust should be cracking and popping in a way that match those aggressive looks, even if they have toned down the design slightly with smaller, narrower exhausts and 18-inch wheels replacing the 19s. But of course, looks and sound aren't everything, because even though this 2-litre is down on power and aggression, it can still be plenty of fun.
I've always been a pretty big fan of the new Toyota Supra. I loved the 3-litre version when it first came out. And that wasn't all down to performance, to be fair. The car itself handled really well. It was a really, really fun car to thread down a back road. And this one's no different. There's something really enjoyable about the way it flows along a B road. It just carves its way so nicely through corners and puts a smile on your face. That gap at the front of the car I showed you earlier, I was laughing at it, but I probably shouldn't. It's actually a good thing. By having a lot less mass towards the front of the car and having less weight, this car's 100 kilograms lighter, what you end up with is a car that feels more agile. This car feels more nimble, more willing to turn in. It's got a better front end. Or at least that's the theory. The problem with the 2-litre Supra is that the steering is hyper nervous. All it takes is the slightest turn and the entire car darts into the corner in a way that, if you're not ready for it, can be actually quite alarming. Even when you're driving in a straight line on a motorway, for example, you've got to keep your wits about you because even the slightest of inputs can cause the car to move around quite a lot. I never thought I'd say this about a sports car, but it's probably a bit too responsive. And this problem is compounded by the fact that there's no real feedback through the steering wheel. I can't feel the grip levels in this car. I can't lean on it through the corners. And as a result, I don't feel that sense of confidence that I need when I'm going through a bend. It all feels a bit too vague, a bit too distant. In a sports car, you want to be able to trust the front end and put your faith in it. You want to be able to tell whether it's going to grip or understeer. And in this, never really that sure, especially in the UK, because the grip levels can vary from corner to corner, especially in winter. And in the Supra, you just can't put 100% of your faith in it. Another complaint I have is with the 8-speed automatic gearbox, where the steering is hyper responsive, the gearbox is under responsive. It doesn't give you the gear that you want when you want it. For example, if I want to go from 5th to 4th, that's fine. Where I encounter problems is going from 3rd gear to 2nd gear. Either it doesn't give me 2nd gear at all, or it gives me 2nd gear momentarily, 2 flashes up on the screen, but then it jumps back out into 3rd, meaning that you're never really sure what gear you're in, which is, well, it's annoying at best and problematic at worst, especially when you're in the middle of a bend and you don't know exactly how much torque you're going to get out of it. Then there's the issue of driver involvement. In a sports car, especially one that's down on power, you kind of want a little bit of involvement, and you would have got that from a manual gearbox, but in this, well, you just don't get it, do you? As for the brakes, well, they feel a bit too grabby, a bit too over-servoed in this car, a bit too hyperactive. That means you have to apply really light pressure on the brake pedal, but then have to apply really hard pressure on the accelerator, and finding that balance when you're driving can be a little bit difficult, I find.
Having said that, there are normally some advantages to running a car with a smaller engine, usually in the form of improved running costs. However, the 2-litre Supra isn't that much cheaper to run than the 3-litre. The smaller engine returns 38 miles per gallon, but the larger engine still manages 34.4. Yes, you pay more tax with the 3-litre, but for me, you get that money back with enjoyment.
Should you buy the Supra 2.0? Well, I think you should definitely consider it, especially if you can't afford the extra £9,000 that the 3-litre version will cost. I think you should also consider it if you like the way it looks. It's an interesting looking car and makes a nice break from the plethora of hot hatches and SUVs that are on the road today. However, you could argue that for this type of money, there are numerous rivals that maybe make a stronger case than the Supra 2.0. Cars like the Porsche Cayman, the Alpine A110, even the Mercedes A45 are all within this price bracket, and all of those arguably present a stronger case.